Kufrafei. The Mishnah. No sugi today.
Yeah.
Kolis HaMeis. If you have the bone, the thigh of a dead person. Kolis HaMeis, Kolis HaMikdashim, also the Kolis, the thigh of a carbon. Basha says it means that if it's pigul or noisar.
Is it really specific? Is it dafka the thigh, or is it any bone that has mayach in it?
It should be any bone that has mayach. We might not even be discussing mayach. We're going to see in the Gemara. But it could be any bone. Kolis HaMeis, Kolis HaMikdash Margea Bahen. If you touch them, whether it's punctured or it's been stubin, whether it's fully closed or nekuvim is punctured, tummy, it's tummy. So Kolis HaMeis, that's the etzem of a mace is metam kisoira. But Kolis HaMukdashim, why is it metam? It's metam d'Rabbanan. Chachamim put a tumah on it so that the kahana wouldn't be lazy, got be nicer and pigul, so that they wouldn't be mefagel or leave korbanos to be nicer. So they said they made a penalty that if you touch it, it's tummy. Okay, now what means bein stum bein nekuvim means whether it's sealed or it's punctured. It doesn't make a difference because an etzem of a mace, is metame on its own. You don't even need mayach or basar, okay? Kulis nevela, kulis hasheretz. However, if you have the bone of a nevela or of a sheretz, if it's fully sealed, then it's going to be tahar. Shalom, shalom. We just started the Mishnah. The Mishnah is talking about bones, different bones of a mace, bones of carbon that became pigul, bones of nevela, bones of sheretz. Right, so we said Kolis HaMeis is the bone of a mace. Kolis HaMukdashim is of a carbon. So on a Bahen, Bein Stum Ben Nikuvim Tami, they're metame. Mace because a mace is metame. A dead body is metame. The bone itself is metame, and Mukdashim is exer because Chachamim wanted the Kahanim to not do pigul or nicer, so they were geyser that if there is pigul or nicer, it's going to be tummy by Yodayim. The carbon is the actual bone is going to be tummy. Now kulis nevela with kulis hasheretz, hanegeh behem stumim teharim nekuvim kolshu. If it's sasu means it's a fully sealed bone, so then it's going to be tahar. Why? Because all the mayach is inside. There's no basar here. All there is etzem. And etzem of a nevela is not metame. Only if there's basar. And even if there's mayach inside, it's still not metame because you can't get to it. It's all fully sealed. But if it's nekuvim, if there's a hole, so you can touch the mayach, so then it is metame. Nekuvim kolshu, if there's a small, even a very small hole, it's metame b'maga. If you touch it, it's metame. Minayin shaf b'masa. How do you know? Even if you carry it, tamalomer hanoiga v'anoise, hanoigeya v'anoise. And in the same pasuk, it's discussed hanoigeya minivlosam and anoise is nivlosam. And that teaches you a hekesh between someone who touches and carries. What comes the day touching, the tumah of touching will also come for carrying. But, and the same thing is true that if you're not over on maga because it's sasun, because it's totally sealed, so then also you're not going to be over, you're not going to become tameh if you carry it. Okay? Now the Gemara makes a simple diuk. In the Mishnah, that's going to take us through different pshatim in the Amorai. The Mishnah said that Kolis HaMeis, this bone of a dead body, of a dead human, if you're negeya, then you're tummy. So it's like the Gemara negeya inaval mahei loy. It sounds like dafka if you touch it, but mahei loy. Question is why? Usually a dead body, like we learned in Parshas Porah, right? Is even if it's in oil, it should be metamin. Etzem also. So why dafka Why dafka if you touch it, but not if you're ma'ahil? Okay. So if there's a kazayis basar with this piece of bone, ba'oil nami litame, it should also be mitame ba'oil. What do you mean? It's kazayis basar. So okay, so for sure there's no kazayis basar going on over here, and therefore it's not going to be mitame ba'oil. But v'idiki kazayis mayach mibifnim. If there's a kazayis of mayach inside, right? So what do I care if it's fully sealed by the bone? Tuma b'kas v'oila. We hold that tuma, that's even though it's sealed underneath. It's just, let's say you have a kever, right? Someone's buried in the ground in a coffin, and still the tuma goes up. It's b'kas, it breaks through and goes up, and even someone jumps over the kever, it's asur. It becomes tameh. So tuma is b'kas v'oila. So if there's a kazayis of mayach, which is mayach, the marrow is just like basar, so it should, the tuma should break through and go out, and therefore even if you touch it, if you're ma'ahil on it, it should for sure create tumah. So ba'oil nami litame. So says the Gemara, okay, so must be we're talking about the leika kazayis mayach mibifnim. There is no kazayis of mayach inside, and since there's no kazayis of mayach, so then the halacha is then even on etzem kiseira, the etzem of a dead body, it's metame if you have a shear of a sa'ira, of a piece of barley. But it's not going to be metame ba'oil unless you have a zayas. Meaning that already we know. That an etzem kisa'ira is metame only b'maga and not b'oil. Right? So the Gemara is now saying, okay, we have to say that there isn't a zayas of basar or moyach in this etzem. Because if there is, then the moyach or the basar should be metame b'oil. I guess maybe even if you have etzem that how about if you have an etzem that's a zayis? The actual etzem is a zayis, meaning besides for the mayach inside. If you have a zayis, I guess it's also not metame b'oil, right? Because if you have an etzem, the Gemara is talking about the mayach. The Gemara is talking about the basar, right? What about the etzem itself? The etzem itself can't be a kazayis big. It sounds like even if the etzem is kazayis big, it's still not going to be metame b'oil, only b'maga. Yeah, Rashi says in the first Rashi in the Mishnah is Tommy the etzem kisara b'meis metame b'maga of masa. So Rashi sounds like he's specifically saying those, not the other ones. Okay. Now the Gemara says, okay, so there can't be kazayis basar and there can't be kazayis mayach, right? Now says the Gemara, v'im mayach mibifni ma la'rucha mibachutz. Now there's another possibility. The Gemara says, how do we understand the function of bone marrow? Bone marrow, the Gemara has a possibility that it's powerful. If it's inside, it's able to regenerate, even if there's no basar on the outer part of the skin, on the outer part of the bone. Still, the bone marrow inside is able to generate more marrow and more actual flesh. That I guess the Gemara understands that that's where the meat starts growing from. And so the Gemara says if the moyach mibifnim, the inside marrow, is mala rucha mibachutz, is able to heal. Mala rucha is milashon refuah, right? It's able to heal the aver outside, and it's able to grow more meat. If there's, let's say, missing meat, right? It's able to regrow it. So then
even less than a kazayis inside.
Even less than a kazayis inside.
We already said that's not there.
Right. If there's a kazayis, so it's already metame ba'oil, tuma b'kas v'oil. Even if there's less than a kazayis, if there's healthy bone marrow inside this bone, that means, and we know, and we're assuming that the moyach mibifnim has this power to regenerate meat, right? So then, Aver Ma'alya, he says the Gemara. So then, even if there isn't a zayis, it still should be considered an Aver Ma'alya. And the only time you need a zayis to be metame be'oil is if it's not an aver. But once something is an aver, so then once you have your own status as an aver, you're already complete burial, like you're an aver, you're a complete thing. So then you're metame be'oil even if you're not a kazayis. And how do we know if you're an aver or not? Or if you have the potential of regrowing, then you're considered an aver. So if we hold that moyach mibifnim is mal larukum mebachutz, then you're an aver ma'alya. So therefore be'oil nami litame. So it says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Breder of Chia, Zaysei Meres, it must be okay. So you see from here, why is it not Matame Ba'il? Because we're wrong. No, it doesn't. It's not true. The inside marrow does not generate meat. It's not going to regenerate the piece of the bone. Okay, so that's what Yehuda Breder of Chia. Pshat is that it's taka not going to be. It's taka, the little bone marrow inside is not going to be tamei ba'oil because it doesn't have this power. Okay, it says the Gemara, b'mayo kimte the leika kazais. Now that you've established that our Mishnah is talking about leika kazais, ihachi b'mukdashin amay mitame. Why by mukdashim if you have a bone of a nicer animal or a bone of a pigul animal? If it's less than a kazais, why is it asur? Rashi explains nicer is not less. It doesn't come less than a kazais. Even nicer needs a shear. Pigul needs a shear, so why over here, if you have less than a kazais, is it going to be mitame? Furthermore, kulis nevela v'kulis asheret. When we say in the Sefer that if you have a bone from a nevela or a bone from a sheret, ki nikvu, if it's perforated, amay mitame, why is it tamei? And even though there's the whole why is it tamei? Hare, there's no kazais. There's no kazais of bone marrow. Right now, nichanami that the etzem could be a yad, right? But the etzem itself isn't mitame. Right, and you actually need enough basar. Right? Rashi says, and even though an etzem is a shomer, it's not mitzvah for nevela. We learned in the first Mishnah in the parak, right, that the etzem itself isn't mitzvah to a shear. Right. So over here also, if there is no kazayas of moyach, so then why is this bone of an nevela mitame, even if there are holes? So says the Gemara, halei kashya. Okay, good. I mean, that's not a kasha. Reisha the loika kazayis. We're going to say that the reisha, the first case, when we're talking about kazayis minames, it's talking about there's no kazayis. Seifa the ika kazayis. But the seifa is when there is a kazayis. Meaning all the latter cases in the Mishnah, the mukdashim, the nevela, and the sherets, we're talking about there is a kazayis, and therefore it's mitame. Says the Gemara, Mike Mashmalon. So what's this teaching me? Says the Gemara, mili kamash malan. Rashi explains the Gemara. The kasha of my kamash malan is Rashi saying, you don't need to teach me. It's pashat. He says it's pashat that we know already, and so we have the established rule that an etzem is mitame kisa'ira, b'magon is not mitame ba'oil. I mean, I don't need the Mishnah to teach me that. So what's the Mishnah teaching me over here? You have no mayach, you have no moyach, you have no basar, you have an etzem kisa'ira, it's not mitame ba'oil. Shkoyach, we know that. Like, that's an ahlois. You know, why do you have to teach that to me over here? The my kamash malan says mili kamash malan. Meaning mili means like all different things. Each clause of the Mishnah is going to be teaching us something else. We're like smack in the middle of the Amun. But you see, so the Gemara was discussing what the Mishnah. The Gemara is going to discuss now what each clause of the Mishnah is going to teach us. It's gufa. What the Mishnah is teaching me is that because we're talking about a case where there's no kazayis basar, because we're talking about a case there's no kazayis moyach, right? but even so, I might think that since the marrow has the potential of regenerating the aver should have a din of its own aver. So therefore, kamash malan the Mishnah, no, moyach mibifnim is not malaruchim b'machutz. The marrow does not have this power of healing the bone, of regenerating the bone, and therefore it's not going to be mitame. The oil. And only the etzem, if you touch it, it's mitame kisoi. Okay. So mukdashim my kamash malan. How about by mukdashim? What's the chiddush by mukdashim? That if you have a kazayis of moyach in the bone, that it's going to be mitame. Says the Gemara, the chiddush is like this: that shimush noisar milsahi. That the fact that something, the bone, right, is mishamish noisar. The bone is what holds the meat, right? The meat is noisar. The bone is really only a mishamish of the noisar, right? So is that considered something? The fact that you're connected, you're being mishamish noisar. Are you going to get the status of noisar also? So that's what the Mishnah teaches me. Yes. Even if you have a kulis, if you have a bone, it's also mitame. So that shimush noiser is milsahida. Amar Mori Baravuha. If you have the bones of kachim, sheshimshu noisar, that served noisar because they were on the animal of noisar, and you could use it to eat the meat, right? So then that's metam nisayodayim. They're also metam nisayodayim hol v'nasa basis l'davar asur, because the bones are a basis l'davar asur, and therefore we say not only is the basar of noisar metame midrabanan if it's pigul or noisar, so too the basis, the thing that became the base to it, is also going to be asur. Nevela. What's the chiddush of nevela? Says the Gemara. What we're learning is afagav deika kazayis, and this is the chiddush of the Mishnah, that even though there is a kazayis of moyach inside, but only if it's nikva, only if there's a hole then it's metame. But like nikva, if it's sasum, if it's totally sealed, so that's not going to be metame, even though there's moyach inside. Okay, so that's our first approach to the Mishnah. That the first case is talking about no kazayis, and the next cases are talking about no kazayis. Now, Abaye, Omar, he doesn't want us to make any conclusions that the gabi the moich. He says no. Maybe really the bone does have the potential of regenerating itself. So then, what are we stuck with? And even if there's no kazayis of basar, even if there's no kazayis of moyach on the bone, but still, it should have its own din aver. It should have its own din aver because it's able to regenerate. Pshat is when you cut it open. You it says scraped.
Yeah.
Okay. The Gemara is going to say what type of scrape. So the pshat is once you scrape it, then it loses its koyach. Right? Yeah. Once you scrape it and you cause an indent in the bone, so then even if regularly the marrow does have the power to regenerate, but now it won't have the power to regenerate because you ruined it. You made a cut. Like Rabbi Eliyahu says, if you took a thigh bone and you scraped it l'orka to its length, tmeya, then it's tamei. Why? Because it still has bone marrow, right? The bone marrow still has potential. Meaning, if you have a long bone and you scrape it to its length, so then it still does have the power to regenerate itself. However, the rachba tahira. If you did it to its width, then it's tahir because you're sort of separating the entire bone in half. You're making a hefsek in the bone. The simanach and the same type of thing would be true. The siman would be by a deka. Rashi explains that when you have a palm tree, right? So if you scrape it or you sever it to its length, right? So the sap is still able to rise, right? Yes, it can't go from right to left, right? It can't go around, but it can go from down up. Now, if you scrape it widthwise, right, horizontal wise, right. So now the sap can't go up. You made actual hefsek. Same thing is true by an etzem kisa'ir. If you do it to its length, so it's still able to regenerate. It'll still maintain its tumah. Over here in our Mishnah, we're talking about when you scraped it, or when you made an indent in the width of the etzem, and that sort of stops the mayach's potency to regenerate, and therefore over here that's the case. Regularly, all he wants to do is stay safe from assuming that the mayach is mala rucha. He says no, maybe the mayach really is mala rucha. It's just in this case we're talking about a case where you did something that stopped it, and therefore it's not going to be metame. Regularly would be metame. Okay, if Rabbi Yochanan says no, there is a kazayis. Don't make any assumptions about moyach mevifnim. No, really it is malaruch mevachutz. And we have a kazayis. So what does it say in the Mishnah? What was our whole kasha? The whole kasha was, so why only if you touch it? Why not if it? Why is it not metame ba'oil also? He says, it means the same thing. Don't worry, negeh could also mean ma'il. Says the Gemara, well, if you're assuming that moyach mevifnim is malaruch mevachutz, so then we should have the same exact din by kulis nevel and kulis hasheretz. Even by nevel and hasheretz, if you have moyach and you're telling me that the moyach inside has the potential of regenerating the entire aver, so therefore it should have the din of an aver on its own, right? Even if there's no kazayis, and therefore kiloi nikvu amay taharim. Even if it's sasum, it should still be mitayr, because it's not pshat. It's not like basar. It's not like the hole is what lets you touch it. It's not about touching it. Once it has a stat, once there's moyach, and you hold the moyach has the power to regenerate it, so then it has a din aver ames, aver nevelo, and if it has a din of an aver, so then it's going to be mitame. Down there. Okay, so we're still looking for right to Rabbi Yochanan, who said that negia could also mean oil. So when our mission says negia means also oil. So where do we find such a thing? So the Gemara says, "Uman tana de koil oil negia." Who's the tana that calls oil negia? Rabbi Yossi, we are the tana. Yossi oimer meloi tarvad rekev. If you have tarvad is a spoon. If you have a spoonful of rekav, Rukav is the broken down, it's ashes, it's the dust that's left over from a mace, like in a coffin or something. So that's mitama if you have a meloi tarvad. If you have what's the shear? Rash says the shear is halacha l'moshe b'sinai, that if you have a spoon's worth of the ashes, whatever it's called, the dust. So then it's mitame b'imaga, if you touch it, b'masa if you carry it, or oil if you're mile on it. So it says the Gemara, Shlomo b'masa with oil, you can understand. Hakatoin le, the kulei, either you're carrying the whole thing, so that's mitame you b'masa, v'akama'al hil akulei, or you're being ma'ahil on the entire thing. So it's mitame you elanegeya, but how could you become tame if you touch it? Haloi noga b'kulei, you're not touching the whole thing.
Because ice.
Right?
Well, it has to be molly tarvid. It has to be molly tarvid. That's the shear.
Right, it has to be molly tarvid, which is all little pieces.
Right, you can't touch it.
You can't touch the. How could you touch a whole molly tarvid? Right? You're only touching one part. You're not touching the whole thing.
No,
it doesn't mean if it's in a spoon. It means the spoon's worth. Spoon's anywhere, right? So if you have it together, I guess if you have it together, right? But still, more saying if you touch it, what do you mean? So you only touched a little bit. You didn't touch the other. Especially if you have a kazayis of something, so it's one cheft, so it's one piece. Over here, it's not. It's all these little pieces of dust. So how's it mitami? So the Gemara says elamai. What does negeya mean? It means ma'ahil. So must be negeya means ma'ahil. It says the Gemara, vakatani negeya, vakatani ma'ahil. What do you mean? So then there's a repetition over here because it says negeya and ma'ahil. So you have to explain the difference. Amar Abaye, really both are talking about ma'ahil, but there are two types of ma'ahil. Lemata mitefach oil negeya. If the oil on top of this tarvad, on top of this rekav, right, is less than the tefach, so then it's calling it oil negia. It's oil, avad it's too much oil, but it's negia. It's like touching. It's so close. But lemala mitefach is oil greda, right? So that's why it's pshat over here. That it's oil greda. Lemala mitefach on top of tefach is oil greda. Either way you see here, even according to Abaye, right, that oil could be called negia, right? Now Rashi explains that Abaye won't fit with the Mishnah because according to Abaye, it's only if it's very low oil is it called negia, but you would still have the same diak in the Mishnah that on top of it, on a bigger oil, it wouldn't be mitame. We have the same kasha. So Rashi says Abaye won't go like Rabbi Yochanan. But Rava Omar, afilu l'mala mitefach nami on negia. No, he says. No, even on top of. Even on top of a tefach, when oil is more than a tefach, it's still called negia, and that's what negia means in Rabbi Yossi's statement. So then, oil greda. So what's oil greda? It means again we have to discuss the difference between negia, which is oil, and the oil. Why do you have to say twice? Zokt rava. No, there are two types of oil. Oil greda means b'amshach, right? So there's oil is when you're ma'ahil on top of. You are actually hovering over this meloi kaf of rekav, right? And you become the oil, so you're mitame. And hamshacha means if there's an oil on top of you and on top of the rekav, so the tumah is being mamshich. The oil is being mamshich the tumah from that onto you. So there's two types of oil, and they're both oil, right? But there's two different ways to be mitame b'oil. Okay, so Amar Rava says Rava mino minola. Now, how do I know that this is true? That even lower than
Higher.
that even higher than the tefach, it's called negia. You know what I mean? If you have the ropes of a mita, you have a bed, right? They used to have the frame, and then they used to have ropes going back and forth, and then you put the stuff on the bed and you sleep on the bed, right? So these ropes the ropes of a bed, or srige chalonis, or like the shades of the window shades of a window, right? That you have like slats, right? So now that's choytzin ben abayis la'aliyah. If you have an upstairs, you have like a window in between and it has shades, or chavilim, or these ropes of a meter, right? So now the idea of here is that even though there's space in between the slats of the window shades, there's space in between the ropes of the bed, right? It's a mesh thing, right? But it's not fully enclosed. But still, since there's less than pesach tefach, shalom. Since there's less than pesach tefach, so therefore it's still chaytzitz. Meaning, even though there is a little bit empty space, but since it's less than a tefach, it's still chaytzitz. That's the chiddush of this mishnah. The chavilei mito or srige chalanis, they are chaytzitz ben abayis la'aliyah. If there's a dead body underneath it, and you want to know if the tumah goes up into the second floor, no, it's a hefsek. It is a chatzitza. Shaloi la'achnis tumah, so that the tumah doesn't go to the other side, to the move it. So that the tumah doesn't go to the other side. It is a chatzitza. However, let's say parsan al pnei hameis ba'aver. Let's say you spread this. We're on Kufach Hamid Beis on the. We just quoted the Mishnah. The Rabbi Yossi says. Chavilei mito shrika chol are chaytzitz ben abayis la'aliyah. Shlo lachas tumah l'tzad sheni, right? But parsan al pnei hameis. But if you took this window shade, right, or the bed frame that has the ropes, right, and you put it on top of a dead body, right? So in that situation, if you touch the dead body, keneged hanekev, meaning where the hole is, so then that's a problem. You're tummy. But shaloi keneged hanekev, if you touch not keneged hanekev, if you touch where the shade, where the window shade or the rope is on top of the dead body, so then you talk. Okay, so that's the Mishnah. The Mishnah is that you have this type of a window shade that has holes. It's not fully it's not a full chatzitza, right? Or the ropes of a mita. It's not a fully chatzitza. Still, it's chaytzitz. But that's only if it's on top. But if it's actually on the dead body, right? If you personal pnei hameis ba'aver, so then if you touch keneged hanekev, it's tamei. Shloi keneged hanekev, it's tar. Says the Gemara, hechi dami. What's this case where you took them and you put it on the dead body? Hechi dami. Ilei milamata mitefach. If it's within a tefach of a dead body, mamish on top of the dead body, less than a tefach on top of it, so then shloi keneged hanekev amai tahar. If you're touching not keneged the empty space, you're touching even where the rope is, where the actual slat is of the shade, right? The actual slat, you're actually touching right there. Why is it tahor? Meis biksusayhu. It's as if you have a dead body in its clothing, in the guy's clothes. Let's say a dead body is covered with tachrichin, right? So it doesn't make a difference if you touch the tachrichin or it's right on top of the tachrichin. The tumah is right there. It doesn't because the ksus of the mace is bottled to the mace, just like my ksus is bottled to me, right? And so it's. The ksus is bottled to it, and the tumah is right there. It's not going to be mafsik, right? The beged is not going to be mafsik, the tumah. So if this chavilei mito or srige chalonis are on the mace so close, it's like it's wearing it. So if it's like it's wearing it, so it's bottled to the body, and then the tumah is right there. So if you're ma'ahil, even keneged shaloi keneged hanekev, even not where the actual hole is, right? Where the actual mace, even if it's stopped by the shade, still it should be tomei. Amaitar mace biksusohu, umeis biksusohu is mitame. Elalav says Gemara is talking about lamala mitefach. Must be we're talking about that it's lamala mitefach. Since it's lamala mitefach, it's not mamish on the dead body. It's not mamish. It's not like it's wearing it. It's not biksusoi, and therefore kakarlin again. It's called negeh. So Rava proved to us over here that if you have an oil that's on top of a tefach, it's still called negeh. It's still called negeya, and that's what the Mishnah means. That if you're negeya, keneged the whole, right? Keneged the whole, so then it's an oil. But shaloi keneged the whole, it is mafsik because it's not makabel tumah. Rashi says so. Therefore it's mafsik. But it's right.
Right. Since you have access to the marrow, so then.
And the chilik is that if it's part of the ceiling, right? In the ratio of the Mishnah, when it's part of the ceiling, it's takachaytis. Over here, it's not part of the ceiling; it's just by the dead body. so it's not considered a full chatzitza. Only where the actual slat is, right? Meaning if it's part of the ceiling, so then the whole thing is chaytzitz, even where there's empty space. But since over here it's not part of the ceiling, it's just resting on top of the dead body, so therefore it's not going to be, even though it's a tefach on top, still it's not going to be fully chaytzitz, only where the actual slat is, not where the hole is. So Abai says no. He says no, I'll disprove. I'll give you a different approach. Avad is talking about the matam mitefach. With ka'amrit meis b'ksusay, who you told me that if it's resting on top of it, it's b'ksusay, right? It's as if it's wearing it, and therefore it should be mitame, even where the slat, even where there's a hefsek. So the Gemara meis b'ksusay mevatalei, hay loy mevatalei. No. Meis b'ksusay, it's his clothing, he's actually wearing it, that's batal to the body. Over here, it's not meis b'ksusay, you took a window shade and you put it on the dead body, he's not wearing it. He's not wearing it, it's not batal to him. So avada will be chaytzitz where it is. Wherever the slat is, it's going to be chaytzitz. Okay, so now the Gemara asks, okay, but now if you Abaye want to tell us that it's talking about that it's underneath, meaning that it's able to be chaytzitz wherever this window shade is, right? We have window shade, we have empty spaces in between the slats, and then you have the slats themselves. But on top of the slats, it is going to be chaytzitz because Rashi says it's not a couple tumah, therefore it's chaytzitz. And now if you're ma'ahil on top of the slat, you're talking not going to be tumah because there's a chatzitz over here, right? Frek the Gemara, we have a rule. We always have a rule that whenever you have, let's say you have a kever, right? You have a kever, a dead body in a coffin. So if there's a tefach in between the dead body and the roof, so then it's mafsakit and the tumah stays contained in the coffin. And if you go on top, you're not tumah. But if there isn't a tefach, so tumah b'kas v'oilad l'rakia, tumah goes all the way up. So says the Gemara, according to you Abaye over here, right? You want to say this when we're talking about that it's less than a tefach. So there is no tefach in between the slat and the dead body, right? So therefore the tumah should go all the way up. So the v'tihave kituma tmuna b'kas v'oilad should be mitama also, right? So Bishlam, according to Rava, makes sense because there is a tefach in between. But according to Abaye, you want to say so the tumah should go through the slat also. So that says the Gemara, Kasav Rabbi Yossi holds tumah tmuna ein b'kas. Tumah tmuna does not. He doesn't hold this. He holds that tumah does not go up even if there's no tefach. It's not b'kas v'oilad l'rakia. Okay, now the Gemara says we don't tell him. Where do you know such a thing that Rabbi Yossi doesn't know? Listen, not. Now you have the Mishnah says in Oholois. If you have a big box, you have a big box made out of eights, like a wardrobe type of thing, a pantry, that has inside there's space, there's a tefach. Meaning, I guess, let's say you have all these different drawers, different compartments, right? But in the drawers there's a tefach, meaning there's a tefach of space, and you have a dead body inside, and there is a tefach of space, meaning not that isn't shelves. There's a tefach of empty space within the closet. The ein b'tziasa pasech tefach. However, in the doorway to the box, there isn't a pesach tefach. I guess it's a very small drawer or something. So inside is a pesach tefach, but in the actual doorway, when you take things in and out of the box, there isn't. It doesn't have pesach tefach. So what's the halacha? The halacha is that midoraisa really, since the dead body is in the box. Let's say the box is in a house, right? So the dead body is in the box, and there is a pesach tefach inside over there. Right, so therefore the tumah is really contained in the box, and the rest of the house is good. Now, however, midrabanan we say that tumah b'soicha, if there's tumah in the box, the bayis is tumah. It's only midrabanan. Now, tumah b'bayis, however, if there's a dead body in the bayis, whatever is masha b'soicha tar, whatever is in the box is tar. Let's say you have regular kelim in the box, the tumah from the house is not going to go inside. Why? What's the difference? Midrabanan we say that even though Avad Midoraisa, since there's a Pesach Tefach, since it's contained over here, but since the derech of the Tumah is Lotzeis, usually what do? You have a dead body in your pantry, you take it out. You take it out, and you're going to bring it out through the house, right? And what's going to happen? The whole body is going to become tummy. Therefore, Midrabanan we say, if it's in there, it's going to be tummy Midrabanan anyway, because derech Tumah is Lotzeis. However, But if you have a dead body in a house, right, and you have your Kerem in this box, who's going to take the dead body and put it into the Oren? That's not the, you're just going to take it out of the house. You're not going to put it in there. Therefore, the dead body is not going to go into the teva. However, if you have dead body in the teva, the dead body is going to leave. And therefore, midrabanan we say the whole house is tummy. But again, really midoraisa, it's contained. Now, Rabbi Yossi is mitar. Rabbi Yossi is mitahir. He doesn't hold this derabanan. Why? Because yes, you're right that the way to get rid of the dead body from the teva is by you can take it through the house. So maybe you're going to chop it in half. You're going to chop it in half, and now it's not going to be mitame. But oil, you're going to cut it up. Maybe that there's no too much oil. Oil sarfa b'mkoima, or you'll burn it. You'll burn it in the teva, and then it'll never leave. Right, I guess. So either way, no, it's not mukhrach. Right? It's not. You can get rid of this. You can get rid of the dead body without it going to the house. There's a way, right? And therefore, midrabanan, we're not going to be geyser until it actually goes into the house. But once if it's still in the teva, it's going to be contained. The Ketani Seifa, and then the Seifa says, how about if Ha'emidah b'Pesach? Means you have this box, you have a dead body in the box, right? And you take the box and you put it at the doorway to the house, right? So now, u'pischol l'chutz, and the opening of the teva, right? The opening of the teva is to outside. So then, Tumah b'soicha, if the tumah is in the box, habayis tohar, then the bayis is still tar. I mean, usually we say if there's tumah in the box, it's tameh because the Chachamim say midrabanan we have to be geyser because you're going to take the mace out through the house, right? But now if the teva is by the door, right? So I'm going to take it straight outside. It's never even going to go into the house. So therefore, it's not a problem. So that's what it's saying is. If you took the box and you put it at the opening of the house, and the opening of the doorway of the pantry, of the wardrobe, whatever is towards the outside, so if there's tumah b'soicha, habayis tar. Tumah b'bayis, and if there's tumah b'bayis, of course, masha b'soicha tar, always we say that if there's tumah in the house, what's inside is tar. Okay, V'tani Allah, and Rabbi Yossi says, V'tani Allah, Rabbi Yossi is mitahir. On the Seifa, we have also a statement that Rabbi Yossi says is mitahir. Gemara says, what's this going on? Ahai. Ilema Seifa, going on the Seifa, Tanakamanami Torah mitahir. There's no one's mitam over there. Can't be going to the Seifa. Ella says the Gemara, the Ka'omer Tanakama, Tumah b'soicha habayis tameh. This is the Tanakama said in the Reisha that if Tumah is b'soicha, Tumah is in the box, the bayis is tameh. For one of two reasons. Really, the Chachamim have two reasons over here. Two different cases. Mishum de derech tumah latzes. Either because the derech is tumah latzes, like we just said midrabanan. Midrabanan, the way to take it out, you can take it onto the house. Mishum de tumah tumuna. Or another reason why they say it's tama is because of tumah tmuna is by kas, meaning if let's say where the body is in the box there is no tefach on top of it, right? If there's no tefach on top of it over here, in the ratio we explained that there's a pesach tefach, right? There is tefach on top of the dead body, and therefore the tumah is able to stay contained. The Chachamim say, well, there's another case if there isn't a tefach. If there isn't a tefach, so then the dead body is in the box. There's no tefach being mahil in the box. Therefore, the tumah is going to be bakeh v'oila. So really, the chachamim, there's a diuk over here that really the chachamim don't only mean in the case where midoraisa it's contained. There's even a case where it's not contained, not because the midrabanan the derech tumah lotzes. No, but because there's tumah is bekas because there isn't a tefach, right? So really there are two cases where the Chachamim would be metameh. Imishum the derech tumah latzes midrabanan, or imishum tumah tmuna bekas. If there isn't a tefach on top of the dead body, so then we say that the tumah is not contained because it's bekev v'oila. The ka'amar le Rabbi Yossi, and Rabbi Yossi it tells back to the Chachamim the ka'amar derech tumah latzes. This that you're saying you want to be geyser because the derech is to move the body out of the wardrobe into the house. He says no. No, you can chop it up, or to burn it, to cremate it, right? So then taka the body, you can get it out without causing tumah to the house, and therefore he's not going to be good with their body. And with the ka'amar tumah tmuna bakas, and this that you're implying that if there is a pesach tefach, right? That if there isn't a pesach tefach and it's tmuna, it's hidden. And it's bekas, and in that situation you would hold that the tumah avada would be bekeya and break out into the house. Tumah tmuna and bekas, no. it's mitahar, and that's why Rabbi Yossi repeats it and says again. He says he's mitahar because first of all, your drabanan that you articulated, that midrabanan your geyser because it's seifa tu malatzis, that I'm being chaylik on, and even what you implied, Rashi shows how it's the diuk over here. Even though you implied that that only if there's pesach tefach. Right, but if there isn't Pesach Tefach, you don't even have to come on to the Drabanan because Midoraisa, it's Bekeva Oila. On that comes Rabbi Yossi and says, no, even on that I'm Chaylik. And even if there isn't a Tefach on top of the dead body and you hold it's Bekeah, no, I don't hold that. I hold it's not Bekeah. Okay?